Welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. For about a year now, I've been telling you about the incredible partnership between the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service and James Amps of Amps International. Together, they have been generating interest in the field of agriculture through the youth. Well, while we were in Puerto Rico, I was able to share my handbook, How to Get Television News Coverage. It's easier than you might think with these three, under one condition, that when you get this book, when you finish reading it, I want to see a story from the farm. Well, on the end, far right, is Virginia Ciencia, and she was the first to share her story. And here it is.
Bueno, contame un poco, Alberto. ¿Hace cuánto que tenés el campo ya?
Mira, empezamos en 2005, hace ya 15, 25, 19 años, Virgen, que estamos acá en el campo.
Mira vos.
19 años.
¿Qué sentís que es lo más lindo, digamos, del campo? ¿O lo que más te gusta durante todos estos años que has estado?
Lo más lindo es el contacto con la naturaleza, ¿viste?
Claro. ¿Y lo más difícil con lo que te encontrás con las vacas por ahí o con los terneros?
Las vacas tienen, todos los días tenés alguna cosa para hacer. Todos los días, siempre tenés alguna cosa. No es como el otro trabajo del cereal que vos sembrás y ya todo el año es mucho menos trabajo.
Claro.
Lo que es maíz, soja, que hacemos nosotros acá. Animales, todos los días tenés cosas para hacer. Pero la verdad que vengo contento, no me pone triste venir al campo, al contrario.
Sé que es algo sí que te gusta mucho.
Trabajo bueno.
¿Y para vos cuál es la mejor época del año para venir acá al campo y disfrutar?
La primavera, que no hace tanto calor, no hace tanto frío, no todo se pone verde.
Claro.
La primavera. Y la verano, de lluvia más lindo.
¿Qué es esto, pa?
Un mortero de los orígenes acá. Encontramos una más que se partió.
De los come chingones. ¿Cuál es el secreto para un buen asado argentino?
El secreto es que la carne sea buena. Que sea un animal que le comió pasto, que no sea tan con engorde artificial, ¿viste? Eso no me importa. Y si es con leña, mejor, por supuesto. Y en el campo, mejor todavía. Me parece más rico, ¿viste?
And joining me now to talk more about that great story is Virginia Ciencia herself, along with her sister Catalina, who was also at the Puerto Rico retreat, and then James Amps of Amps International, who is behind, this whole thing. And so, James, thank you so much. And Virginia and Catalina, thanks for joining me. What an incredible video.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it was. James, I'm going to go to you first because I know I was like a proud parent when I saw it, and I know you would be like one as well.
I think you're right. We did feel like proud parents. I think both of us did because they accepted your challenge, Jacqueline. Is that when you finish the retreat, go home, make some videos, and that's what Virginia did. Virginia and her sister Catalina from Argentina are just two dynamic young ladies who did really well in our retreats and have done well before our retreats. But when they did get to Puerto Rico, they just, they took over and made everybody look good at the retreats. But just seeing, the farm that she was on, the agriculture that's going on in Argentina at their home was just incredible. If she wants to talk about it, it's real cool.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I was going to say, tell me, when you told me when you finished producing it that you were so glad you did, what was it? What came out of that for you when you produced that story?
oh, well, first of all, producing this documentary will not have been possible in the same way and with such quality if it had not been for the book that you, Jacqueline, gave me at the end of the AMPS Institute
Oh,
retreat.
thank you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is quite a compliment. Thank you. I wasn't expecting you to say that at all.
Yes. Well, each technique was implemented and it absolutely helped me to improve my workflow when producing and editing the audiovisual piece. So I'm really glad for that.
Well, you know what? It's not your first video. And I love the way you use the graphics and you taught all of us, a lesson, because the one thing pictures do in telling a story is help tell the story. But the way you use the graphics, can you talk about the way you use the graphics? And then Catalina, I know you know how to do this too. So talk about what she did and then what you both do together, if you can.
Perfect. Yeah, well, I wanted something engaging, something that could keep the viewers hooked at all times. So I decided to use my growth content skills to combine both landscape and nature scenes with short questions that I could ask my dad about his life experience as an Argentinian agricultural producer. So moving to the more technical side, I used motion graphics that I obtained from different plugins added to Premiere Pro, the editing software that I use. And well, I didn't use artificial intelligence AI because I wanted to be as organic as possible.
I mean, I'm all for AI, but when it comes to producing and storytelling, I am like, there's nothing like telling the story as it is and using, the natural sound like you did. Catalina, what do you have to say, or what are your thoughts on the video that she created?
Well, when Virsh told me that you, Jacqueline, had motivated her to make a video reflecting about the family farm, I knew we were going to enjoy it immensely because we were showing something that is daily in our lives. Like we visit and walk around the farm every single day, but we have never really documented it. Sometimes things become too common and you don't really see the value that you have on them and the value they carry for the world. So it really made us reflect on the importance of the agriculture and the livestock production, and also the work that every single farmer do every day to sustain their families. Because especially in Argentina, every single family lives thanks to the farm, and full generations have been living from it, and sometimes we do not really appreciate it. So I think that this video is actually a treasure, an absolute gift that we will be able to show our grandchildren or children and generations. I think it's so special, and I want to thank you really much for giving that opportunity to actually show what we have here.
Well, I was really glad you took advantage of it, and I knew you both would be behind the scenes. I know I gave that challenge to you, Virginia, because from the first day I was there, you told me right away. You told me, I'm interested in what you do. I want to learn from you. And I was like, well, what more could you ask for? And because you took that initiative, I wanted to make sure that when you left there, you had tools you needed to do really kind of what you've already been doing, but maybe in a different way. Looking at stories different from a promo, but you were able to do both. So you still told it in a kind of a promo style, but it was totally news story for sure, or documentary style. And I think that combination was so magical, and you could really see it. And it did. It made you stay and watch and watch and watch. And that's the key behind holding a viewer than just tuning in and then what? Turning off, right? So from a business perspective, you learned so much at the AMPS Entrepreneurship Leadership Institute retreat. Can you talk about what made you say yes to that challenge? And then you also, Catalina, what you guys learned at this retreat that really benefited through this whole process? Because the whole idea is to get people interested, young people in particular, into the field of agriculture. And just what you just said, I don't think, people understand the joy it is in being on a farm on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, in my case, it has been instrumental in shaping my perspective and encouraging me to explore other areas of production that I will never have investigated if it were not for this retreat. It's 100% recommended. I had the
Yes. And
pleasure
also,
of learning from individuals like you, Jacqueline, like James, and like Juan, that is not with us today. But you guys are three amazing mentors that I have. It's like,
yes.
yeah.
And I also think that the retreat gave us a renewed vision of what rural work actually means and will mean in the future. Because, like I said before, in Argentina, entire families have been living off the land for decades, since our great grandparents came from Europe until the present day. And despite of the great technological advances, most rural properties, they lack the necessary equipment to work smarter and not harder, and actually to leave a bit behind the manual labor that they have been carrying all these years. And also they use really old machinery, and they think that's the only way to generate income. So that is what they are passing also to the future generations, and that's what they are saying to their children. Farm is hard work, and it's not something that you can implement creativity or technology into it. And something that the retreat show us is that you can implement technology and innovation and creativity to create more, not only more income, but to actually enjoy more the beauty of the farm, the nature, and that you can actually have a really successful family business. It's worth it to keep working on that family project that our great grandparents brought from Europe. They had those dreams. And I think that's really valuable to all young people to consider it.
That was something Juan Casimiro, who is not here. He is the master entrepreneurship trainer. Now, James, I know he's your hero. It's one of those, your hero. So I'm going to let you talk about who Juan is. And then, if it wasn't for Juan, we wouldn't know you guys. And so can you tell us about your hero, James? Because I know you won't even hold a retreat without him.
I know, and I wish Juan Casimiro was on here, but Juan and I go back to like 2003 when we first started our retreats. And I always say that any retreat that we have, if Juan's not our trainer, then we won't have it. And it's because he understands his craft. He understands how to deal with young people. He understands how to grow young people. And without him, we wouldn't have Virginia and Catalina from Argentina, because he actually took them on a whirlwind United States tour with Biznovator, his company, and going to different retreats under his company. And so they had a great time touring the U.S. And it just so happens that before they got there, they came to Puerto Rico for our retreat. And we were glad to have them because they're not just great young people, they're mentors to other people. So because we can take this video from Virginia and we can actually show our past participants this video and also our future participants. And we also want to get it to the USDA and let them see what our young people are doing, not just with our retreats, but with their lives and where they live. So I always thank Juan for what he does, but with Virginia and Catalina, I think they're just two special individuals who understand how to move forward and not have any excuses on what they do. And that's what they do. They just move forward. They learn and they move forward. I think Catalina is one of the best virtual assistants in the country, or really in the world now, because she's Argentina. I know she doesn't want any more promo because she has a lot of work, but we're always glad to have her working with us. And I know Biznovator loves her working with them, with both of them. So definitely thank you, Virginia and Catalina, for what you do.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to bring in, Mom, because Mom was there at every point,
She sure was.
So she was just as much of a help during that Puerto Rico retreat. And but just, we've met your father on the farm. I could not do this, without talking about her and just her love for watching you and her making herself available while you guys were in the United States and touring, as you will, around. So tell us a little bit about this wonderful young lady here.
Hey, Jacqueline, before they get into it, Catalina, her mom, when she was at the retreat, she was teaching me how to eat healthy. I mean, everything I ate, she take a picture of it. And then she would comment on it. Take this out, take that out. Oh, no, that's good. That's good. That's good. I mean, I was like, wow. She said, anytime you have a meal, just take a picture and I'll tell you whether it was good or not. And, we can correct some of your health issues through eating better food. So she's real cool. So y'all got a cool mom.
Absolutely. Yeah. I fell in love with her myself.
She's a multifaceted woman. She's great. She's our great mentor. She's been there in every single step of the way, even in the tough moments, the great moments. And I think it's really important for young people to actually have that inspiration and someone who is there helping them out in this great path that is life. Because of course, sometimes we have challenges and we need others to stay with us. And she's someone so strong. She's so resilient. She didn't understand a single word in English, and she was still there in the United States helping us out. She was really patient, and she's so amazing. And she's also, I think it's an inspiration for all of us, because she's actually showing that you have no excuses. You have no excuses to grow, no excuses to travel, to know the globe. I think she's just amazing, and it's someone that we're so grateful for having her in our lives. And it's so important for young people to actually find a mentor or lots of mentors that can actually help them out, support them, no matter how many times they fail.
Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Now, Virginia, I want to ask you this question. In regards to the video that you shared with us. So what do you want people to understand about what you can do and how, what they should do, or even if they're interested in, working with you, even if it's down the line, even if it's not right away, but how would that work?
Well, that's a really good question. First of
all,
after me, I should say. You can work with her after she works with me. You might not be able to work with her, but if they could work with you, what would that be like?
Well, like Katie said, first of all, you have no excuses, and you just need to put action into what you want to do. In my case, I started editing videos without knowing anything. I didn't watch any course, and just YouTube tutorials. And I started with that. And also, right now, I'm reminding that, Jacqueline, you were absolutely right when you show us in the retreat that it was possible to produce a quality piece without the need for camera equipment or professional devices. Because that video, the video that I did, was recorded so lowly with my smartphone.
Wow.
So, there are no excuses at all when it comes to capturing meaningful and valuable stories. So I don't know what else to say, but really, it's just...
I think that's the important part of that, Jacqueline and Virginia, is that that technology can help our farmers around, especially in the United States, and that's what the USDA is interested in. That technology of getting those videos out and connecting these farmers together via technology, instead of having them as, you know, they're by themselves or they're with one or two people on their farm. They can grow it with technology, and you're showing that, you know, just with a smartphone.
Exactly.
Well, not only that, but taking that, even that idea to the USDA and showing them, look what I did this video about my dad's farm. Well, what if I did it about your farmers? That's a business, you know, and that's what we teach, right?
Yeah,
business
and
ideas.
and we told both of them that they probably won't make this Puerto Rico trip, but when we come to the U.S., probably in the middle of next year, with the historically Black colleges and universities, that we're going to want them there, and they can actually use that technology to help those farmers that they're going to meet down there. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes, we are looking forward. I think our next trip is Puerto Rico again. That is
Yeah,
the
Puerto
plan.
Rico. Yeah.
And so, and I think it's kind of a 3 islands. So we've taken these retreats and this particular initiative to St. Croix, St. Thomas, and Puerto Rico, and we've been back to St. Croix. You know, if you've been with Newsworthy Stories, you've seen some of those stories. But the idea is to go back to Puerto Rico, but invite people from all of the islands.
Right. So that's our Tri-Island initiative now. Tri-Island Equity and Conservation. That's what this one's going to be. So we're going to invite the 2 islands to Puerto Rico. But mainly, well, they'll be mostly from Puerto Rico, but it'll be a Tri-Island initiative.
I am so glad to have met you there. And, you know, I can't thank James enough for including me, because I really had no idea to the level of importance that these retreats were, you know, what was behind it, you know, the need to generate the youth in the field of agriculture. I mean, this is a crisis really across the globe. And to see James Amps and Amps International partnering with the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service on this level, and really, you know, at 10, 20, you know, 30 people at a time, the magnitude of that, it might not seem as much, but man, look what you're already doing. Look what you're already doing, Catalina, because I know you've done other things. And so you are taking your skills that you learn from that retreat, and by the time you get to wherever you graduate, you're going to, I think, I don't know about you, James, I'm thinking they'll already have a corporation, or definitely a company, but a corporation where they are drawing from one another, from the islands. And the whole idea was to pull these islands together in any kind of way we can. I know you're from Argentina, a little bit different, but virtually we can do anything.
Yeah,
you know?
They're going to be a force globally for real. You can already tell. You know, they're already doing things globally, but they're going to be a real force business-wise once they turn 18.
I know, right? Yes,
a
turn
serious
18.
force that
Yeah, we
people are
still
going to have to
have
look
that
up
age
to and
limit.
recognize. You know, are y'all 17 yet?
No, we're 16.
You're 16 yet.
Not 17.
Yeah.
You've been 16 for like 3 years now.
I know. Give us a few more months and we'll be there.
Okay.
I'm
all
not
right.
rushing you. James might be rushing you.
Nah, don't rush him.
Enjoy your 16-year-old, you know, being 16.
Yeah,
but
don't rush him.
what an awesome blessing for you guys to, one, have each other, but and to be able to work off one another, but the support system you have. But you guys are heroes. I've told you guys that there when I was at the retreat, you're rock stars.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and you're really making a difference in the field of agriculture. And
I can't wait for them to meet Vivian Dixon, who is our biggest supporter over at the National Resource Conservation Service. But once we send her this video and then she gets to meet you, I'm telling you, she's going to be very happy that you all are with us and doing things with us. And we'll probably grow from there on the things that you can do, because that's who she is. She'll make sure that there's opportunities for the both of you in what we're doing once we send her this video.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me all the way from Argentina. Mr. Amps, thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
We're right here in South Florida. You're a global, global keynote speaker that you are. You're everywhere. But again, I'm always looking forward to the next one, but more so to see what else you can do. Catalina, you even though I gave that challenge to Virginia, you are welcome to do any kind of work in the field of agriculture. Any videos that you share or produce, I will definitely share them because they're important. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks,
Thank you so
ladies.
much.
Thanks,
Great
Jacqueline.
invitation.
Thank
See
you
y'all
so
soon.
much.
Bye.
The USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service, in partnership with James Amps of Amps International, gaining ground on a monumental mission to bring 3 islands together in the U.S. Virgin Islands and the Caribbean: St. Croix, St. Thomas, and Puerto Rico, all dealing with the same global threat: food sustainability and conservation. The AMPS Entrepreneurship Leadership Institute holding hands-on retreats on each of the islands to generate interest in the field of agriculture and conservation among high school and college students, and it's working.
So plantains and bananas are triploid. They don't produce a seed that you plant. So they produce what we call a son. So the seed is actually not a seed, it's the plant.
Oh, so they propagate it.
Yeah, so no, the plantain is producing those kits. You see that one over there, pretty big?
Oh, these little stuff?
Right, so you harvest this, and it has a big tuber in that, and then that's what you plant over there.
The idea is to not only have the students explore agriculture, but build a business around solving an issue in the industry by understanding entrepreneurship.
And agriculture is worldwide. I don't care what you do in your life, it's going to pertain to agriculture somewhere. Okay, I don't care if it's the clothes you wear, the food you eat, whatever. The hair products you use, it's going to relate to agriculture somewhere. Okay, some form is going to relate to agriculture. Who's going to be the disruptor to come up with something magical that the USDA, NRCS, or anybody, any agency, government agency would say, I want to fund this. I want to put $100,000 into this. I want to put 1.2 million into this. I want to put 5 million into this because I want you to grow it.
This major commitment by the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service is in the tens of thousands. It starts with a yes from Washington, beginning with USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service Chief Terry Cosby and Vivian Dixon, who is the USDA NRCS Director of Racial Equity and Justice.
We are in support. We have provided the initial dollars to make sure that these are some things that are going to be happening. We're also committed to ensuring that we add another layer of funding on top of what we've already done. Be a part of the agricultural process and understanding healthy living, wellness, all that goes with living a healthy, nutritional life. Be a part of society's process and making sure that you understand the agriculture USDA system, whether it be you becoming a farmer, some form of producer, even working for USDA, making a life of USDA as it pertains to agriculture.
Their support has led to hundreds of applications and 75 students participating in the retreats. It has also led to vital partnerships with schools, universities, and community clubs to reinvigorate the conversation and need to generate interest in agriculture and conservation.
Well, what we want to do is create an e-commerce platform.
As an added incentive, the participants vie for investment dollars in a pitch competition. The students with the best ideas get the most money. Each student also gets a year-long mentorship with professionals from across South Florida and around the world. But most importantly, these students have the ear of the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service, who have grant money to fund selected ideas.